The hardest part about making a game is not what you think. It's not going to be the programming, making the art, and the what other things are hard. It's not going to be anything that you might think about. It's going to be something that's really unsexy, but it's the most important and also the hardest part of the game. So, what is it? Well, it's basically the scope and the project management. And I know that's like the most unsexy thing I could have said, but it's honestly so important. And if you don't have any project management and you can manage your scopes well in your games, you're not going to finish anything. You're not going to get any benefits of being a game developer, and you're just going to be like one of those nobodies who just makes projects and restarts and never finish anything, never makes any money from their games. And yeah, you don't want to be that person, to say the least. So, what am I specifically talking about when I talk about like project management and scope? Basically, what I'm referring to is knowing what features that is actually going to benefit the game and knowing what features are not going to benefit the game, and also how much complexity each feature that you have in a game is going to add to the development. So let's say I have a puzzle game. I'm working on a puzzle game. That's a good example. So I have this puzzle game. I have like a few core mechanics. Okay, you can walk, you can run, you can jump, you can move things and drag things. You have the pressure plates and the puzzle elements. But what if I added crouching into the game? That would be something that would exponentially increase the complexity of absolutely everything in the game. It would increase the complexity of the player movement. It would increase the complexity of the level design, because then I would need to specifically think about, okay, the player can become shorter and reduce their hitbox when they're crouching, and they can move their camera this way. I would need to specifically consider that in every single level that I make. And let's say I make like 30 levels. In all 30 levels, I will need to consider that the player can crouch. So that's not just like one more thing in the game. Like, okay, yeah, I can implement crouching in a day, or like in 2 hours, like, or maybe like 1 hour. It's not going to take you 1 hour. Let's say you spend like 30 minutes on each game extra just because you had the crouching in the game. I have a Google open here. Let's say 30 times 30. Yeah, that's 900. Probably didn't need a calculator for that. I'm fucking stupid, but that's 900 minutes more. If you spend 30 minutes more in each level to specifically consider that the player can crouch. 900 minutes in hours. If you're spending 15 hours on the crouching alone, that's one feature. Let's say I had this other feature. Let's say it's a grappling gun. Maybe the implementation is going to be a bit longer on this. Let's say I spend like 3 hours making a grappling gun initially. But that's a one-time thing, okay. But then in every single level that I have the grappling gun, I need to change my entire like systems and how I make the levels and figure out how I make grappling gun levels. And it would be a lot more than just the 3 hours, because I wouldn't specifically need to make the levels with the grappling gun. And I would need to change my entire workflow just to like implement levels with the grappling gun and stuff like that. It's just like, you might think, okay, it's 3 hours more, but it's not just 3 hours. It that's just that's the smallest time investment of adding a new feature. The time you implement the feature is the smallest. Like it takes the smallest amount of time to do. That's the easiest thing. Okay, crouching, 30 minutes to implement, done. It's the 15 hours extra that you have to consider in every single fucking level in your entire fucking game that the player can crouch. That's what's going to take you time. The 15 extra hours. That's one extra thing. Let's say the player can, let's say one extra mechanic. What other thing can I do? Let's say they can double jump. Let's say you spend like 15 minutes in every single level to consider that they can double jump. Okay, that's 7.5 hours extra just on this. And then you have those two features. Okay, that's 22.5 hours extra in development just on two features. On two features alone, right? And if your development just fuck, I lost my cavalry. If your development is basically just like, oh yeah, I'll add this feature, oh this thing might be fun, this thing might be fun, you're going to have maybe like fucking 20 different things that you try in a week, and you might not implement all of them. Okay, so you might not spend like that many hours, but it's still going to be a lot of time that you just commit to making the game just exponentially more complex as you develop the game further. And when you add in features, don't think about, because this barely matters. The time you actually implement the features itself, that barely matters. What actually matters is the extra complexity that the project itself is going to have. The extra time that you're going to spend when you're making the level. That's what you should consider. The extra complexity in the code base, right? That's the complexity that you should actually consider and actually like think of before you add new features. Fuck the initial time investment, that doesn't matter. Because it's so small. The thing that actually matters is the time that you spend specifically. Oh, nice. Specifically, like... Oh, I'm going to have so many amenities now. Holy shit, bro. +6. Yeah, you get my point. What matters is basically what you do after. Some people watching this might not have a Trello board, but if you don't have a fucking Trello board, bro, I mean, come on. Get a Trello board. It's so nice to have a Trello board. Organize everything, the tasks that you finished, like the level plan. This is what I'm working on now. And yeah, you need a fucking level plan, bro. So come on. But that's the point I wanted to share to you. The hardest part about making a game: scope, project management. Don't think about the initial things. Think about how it's going to exponentially increase the development time as you add this feature, and how it's going to add more complexity into your project as a whole. Not just the time investment of making the individual feature, right? So if you want more advice like this and you want to learn programming and how to release your first game, if you're just stuck restarting whatever, or you just want a free game development community, I have a free course and a community inside of Smart Indie, which is the first link below. So you can check that out. I'd love to talk more about to you there, or talk to you inside of there. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.